Hi guys, how are you? Sorry I haven't done a video in a while. It's probably because I've kind of forgotten about it. But this video I'm doing now, I have to do because of tomorrow. Because tomorrow is, my most anticipated movie is coming out. Yeah, my most anticipated movie of this year is coming out tomorrow, and that's Interstellar. Yeah. So basically in this video, we're going to be talking about the previous films of the director of Interstellar, and that is the one and only Christopher Nolan. Yeah, one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. Now, I kind of did this before with Steven Spielberg's and David Fincher's movies, but I'm doing it now with Nolan's. Okay? So let's get started. First up, we have following Christopher Nolan's very first movie. And it's the story about this writer who gets involved in a lot of these criminal activities, with breaking into people's houses and things. And I guess I'm kind of in the middle on following. It's not one of my favorites of Nolan's, but it's still very good. But what I really like about it is it kind of has this, old-fashioned film noir style, because it's in black and white, and it's shot in 16 millimeter, believe it or not. And I guess that's one of the reasons why it's pretty good. And also, believe it or not, this movie has a little, few subtle hints about Nolan's other movies. Batman. There's actually, in one scene, there's a Batman symbol on some guy's door. That's pretty damn freaky. But yeah. Following, I'm kind of on the fence about it, to be honest. I'll give it, a freaking good. It's not so bad and it's not so good. It's kind of in the middle. Yeah. Okay. Next up we have Memento. Now, this was really the movie that started Nolan getting noticed. And this is a very good movie. Very intriguing. Mostly because it's told backwards. In other words, the story is told in a very non-linear way. And that's what makes it really good. And really all the actors are great in this. Guy Pearce. This is probably one of Guy Pearce's best roles that I've seen him do. And he plays this guy who has really, lost all of his memories somehow. And, he's basically writing down a bunch of, information on himself. Writing it all over his body. And if you look on the back, you kind of see that. But it's a very intriguing and very dark thriller kind of movie. And that's really what Nolan's style is. And the things that really stand out in Nolan's movies are the acting and the writing. And Memento is no exception for those things. But yeah, Memento, I give it a freaking awesome. Not one of my favorites of his, but still good. Next up, we have a great one. Insomnia. Brilliant murder mystery movie. Absolutely fantastic. I love this. Even though, not many people talk about it nowadays, it's kind of like Nolan's underrated movie. But one of the reasons why I think this movie is brilliant is mainly the acting. Al Pacino and Robin Williams are amazing in this movie. They work so well together. And especially Robin Williams. To be honest, this was the first time I ever saw Robin Williams do a serious role. And he's so good in it as this serial killer. But the plot is, basically Al Pacino, who's this police detective, travels to Alaska to investigate this murder of a teenage girl. Okay, and the girl was killed by Robin Williams because Robin Williams was actually like a best-selling author, and she really liked his books. And they kind of had this, creepy relationship, I guess, and he killed her. Even though like he denies it. But this is a very intense, very dark murder mystery movie that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and that's why it's good. Yeah, very good movie. I'll give Insomnia a freaking epic. Yeah, can't sleep well. Next movie I don't really have to talk about much. Batman Begins. All you gotta know is it's epic and brought the Batman franchise back from the dead. And to this day, it's critically acclaimed, but its 2 sequels far surpassed it. Okay, next up we have another one of, I guess, Nolan's underrated movies, The Prestige. Very, very, I guess, different kind of a movie than Nolan has usually done. But it kind of has his classic style of non-linear storytelling, and that's what makes it good. Basically, this movie jumps back and forth from the past to the present, and it talks about like this basically rivalry between these 2 magicians, Alfred Borden and Robert Angier. And basically, they keep trying to one-up each other with their acts, and it's a very intriguing story. And also, it's one of the few times I've ever seen Christian Bale actually play the antagonist. And that's what's really good about it. And also, as usual, the actors are great in this. So I'll give The Prestige a freaking awesome. Next one, I don't have to say much about either. The Dark Knight. You guys know it's epic. I know it's epic. I've loved this movie ever since I first saw it when I was 10 years old. It will always be my all-time favorite movie, and my favorite of the trilogy, and just the best of the trilogy in general. But I only have one problem with the movie, and that's Maggie Gyllenhaal's performance, which I thought was pretty bland. But other than that, flawless masterpiece. Flawless masterpiece. I love you! Mwah. Sorry, I just had to do that. Okay, next up we have really the movie that everybody knows Nolan for, and that's Inception. Honestly, this is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean that. Everything in this movie is so intriguing. The story, the characters, the editing, the music, the cinematography, the effects. A majority of them practical effects. And that's what I love about Nolan. He's dedicated to practical effects. He doesn't like using a lot of CGI. And that's why he's awesome. Like, the scenes in this movie that you think are CGI, believe it or not, are real. Like the scene when Joseph Gordon-Levitt is having that fight scene in the hallway. That is actually real. They were actually in this special set that was on a gimbal that would turn around, and they were actually fighting inside it. That's awesome. And also, a lot of people complain, this movie's too confusing. But really, if you break it down, it's not. If you break it down, it's just a bunch of different stories really put into one. Because this movie kind of jumps from dream to dream. Because this movie talks about dreams. And what dreams do to us and how they work. And that's the intriguing part about it. That's why it's good. So I'll give Inception a freaking epic. And finally, The Dark Knight Rises, Nolan's most recent movie. Just freaking epic as well. All 3 movies. This entire trilogy, I've loved forever. Fantastic. But even though I'll have to admit, yes, Rises does have problems. I know that might be weird for me to say, because I'm a Batman fanboy, but Yes, Rises does have a few problems, like with the pacing and a few story elements don't make sense, especially the middle part. Like for example, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, but after Bruce gets his back broken and he's um, basically in the underground prison in India, he just recovers like instantly. I don't understand that at all. When the movie says he was in there for 5 months, but in reality, it would take you a lot longer to recover from a broken back. In fact, you probably wouldn't even recover from that at all. But yeah, I think he recovers way too fast, and some of the acting was a little cheesy, but those are just minor complaints. Overall, it was a brilliant and emotional conclusion to this trilogy, and it worked. But yeah, I'm still gonna give it a freaking epic. Okay, that was my thoughts on Christopher Nolan's movies. Tomorrow I'll have my review for Interstellar up, hopefully, and I'm gonna go see it in IMAX, hopefully too. Don't know for sure, but hopefully. Yeah. So see you guys later.